All right, the countdown to the implosion continues. Just about 10 minutes to go now. We're going to be commercial-free until we watch that stadium crumble. The view you're seeing now from the Goodyear blimp high above the North Shore of Pittsburgh. The final moments of Three River Stadium after 30 incredible years. Think back to opening day there, July 16th, 1970. The Pittsburgh Pirates lost to the Cincinnati Reds 3-2. Ironically, the same result as the opening game at Forbes Field, the 3-2 loss to Cincy. And wouldn't you know it, the first game at PNC Park, April 9th this year, Pirates will be playing Cincinnati. Good crowd down here at Point State Park awaiting the implosion. People were expecting to come out here last week, then the delay. They're here in force today. A lot of people like me have their masks ready to go, preparing to be enveloped by that cloud of dust. But overall, as we've been talking about all morning, a big sense of excitement, not only over this implosion and the fireworks to come immediately following it, but also what's to come for the future of Pittsburgh sports teams, the Pirates in their new stadium, PNC Park, and the Steelers in their new stadium. Brenda Waters has been talking to people who've come out here all morning long. Let's switch over to her now and see what people are thinking as we are counting down the final moments of Three Rivers. Brenda?
Okay, Ken, a lot of folks. I cannot believe how packed this place is. But before I talk to some of these people behind me, I want to read another KDKA poll. Now, the poll, according to our poll, 90% of Pittsburghers say that they attended an event at the stadium over the years. And we also asked if Pittsburghers hope to attend a game in the new stadium this year. Now, this is the answer. 50% at PNC Park say they hope to see a Pirates game this year, and 40% say they hope to go to a Steelers game. Now, that percentage is a little bit lower because, as you know, those Steelers tickets are harder to get. Now, over the years, the 30 years, the stadium has seen more than just football and baseball. We're talking hot concerts like Bruce Springsteen and the Rolling Stones and the Grateful Dead and Genesis. I'm going to talk to some of these people who've been to some of those concerts. Todd, you saw who over there?
I saw the Grateful Dead. It was one of the last shows Jerry Garcia
Okay.
ever played, actually. He died shortly afterwards.
All right. What are your feelings this morning? Are you thinking games or are you thinking concerts? Are you thinking everything?
I'm thinking out with the old, in with the new.
Okay, so you're ready for this?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Sean, good morning.
Good morning.
Okay. What concerts have you seen over there?
I saw U2, the Rolling Stones, Billy Joel, Elton John, just to name a few.
Okay. So when you think stadium, do you think more sports or do you think concerts?
I think sports.
Really?
Yes, definitely. Love the Steelers.
All right. And Miss Tina.
Hey.
Hey, how you doing?
Good,
You're
good,
all
good.
perky this morning and happy. Okay, now you've seen a lot of concerts over there too, you said.
Yeah, I saw Billy Joel, Elton John, Metallica, Guns N' Roses. I think that's about it.
Okay, now what about you? Do you think sports, you think concerts when you think of
I
it?
totally think football.
Really?
Yeah, football.
Did you go to any Pirates games?
Yeah, I like the Pirates, but more into football.
Okay, they're singing over there.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else go to any concerts?
I'm a real good. Not a concert. I just remember standing right over there on that ramp there for Hands Across America.
Oh, really?
And all the way across the bridge and around the stadium, all of us were holding hands. It was sort of interesting because when you went home, you're able to see it all across the country. And it was really, it was really something there.
You have some great memories of the place.
Great memories. And I, too, am saying sports because that's what you always remember, sports.
All right, Steelers. Okay. And what's in the cup, sir?
Cappuccino. Yeah.
Okay, any memories for you this morning?
Grateful Dead concert there. The 1991 playoff game, the Buffalo Bills, we lost, but hey, I'm big Steelers fan,
Okay.
I love the Steelers. Go Steelers!
Okay, you guys ready? Yeah. Okay, all right, we're ready for the implosion. All right. Okay, Ken, thanks.
All right, Brenda and friends, thank you very much. Let's bring in John Shumway now. John has been at the command center all morning long where they're actually getting ready to set the charge. We've got our contest winner, Joe King, who's going to push the ceremonial plunger. John, we're under 7 minutes now. What's going on at the command center?
We are under 7 minutes, Ken, and they're making the final checks. So let me run up here to the ceremonial plunger. Liz King's up here. You guys excited?
Oh, very much so. Very, very excited. Yes.
And Joe, you got 7 minutes to go. You getting nervous?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm nervous, but I'm ready for it. I've been ready for it for a week, so I'm ready.
This is going to make a lot of noise, you think, Liz?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I do.
You can tell we're getting close. We heard the siren, the 10-minute siren here just a couple of minutes ago, and since then, Doug Loazzo and the folks from CDI have been incredibly busy. They've been on the radio. They're making the final checks. They've actually got people from CDI who are all around the stadium on the various sides to keep an eye on it. City police have been running up and down the streets on all sides, Ken, just to make sure. Actually, the CDI people have been out of the stadium for quite some time. The main thing they're doing now is to make sure that the area is completely clear of people. That's the critical thing. As we talked to Doug Loazzo a little after 6 o'clock this morning, he told me that the only thing that could delay this thing from going off at 8 o'clock would be concern about they have not completely checked the area to make sure it's clear of people. Other than that, they anticipate an 8 o'clock blast, and as you see on the countdown clock, we're coming up on the 5-minute mark. But they're doing the final checks, and we'll be able to listen to Doug Loazzo as he talks to his crews and gets ready. He'll tell them to hook up the wires, and then that 4,800 pounds of dynamite will go off. And Ken, make sure you don't blink. That's the kind of thing that if you get up and leave the room for a second, it's going to be gone when you come back.
And let's talk about what people should expect, John.
Okay.
First, we're going to hear the booms, and I understand that we won't see anything fall for a beat or two.
Yeah, actually, you'll hear a series of crackle explosions is the best way to put it. This detonator wire actually has explosives in it. And when they set it off, the initial thing that you hear is the detonation wire going off. It'll be a series of crackling booms. And then there are 9-second delay charges inside the dynamite. They actually set off those blasting caps is what they are. 9 seconds later, those start going off, and that is your heavy concussion booms that actually blow the columns apart. Count to 3 after that, everything starts coming down. By 20 seconds, it's on the ground.
And the most critical point, we're looking at it right here, it's that small distance between Three Rivers Stadium and the new Steelers Stadium. John, I imagine they have people ready to go over there and inspect the new stadium first thing.
Absolutely. There are CDI crews and folks from the Steelers are standing by. They want to get over there and get a look at that. The first thing, though, that CDI wants to make sure is that all the charges went off. Now, because they've got people all the way around the stadium, they'll be able to tell and make sure that everything went off as planned. The Steelers have a crew that is going inside what they call the Grand Hall, which is underneath the East Side Concourse, as well as the club and luxury suite level where all that glass is. They're going to go in immediately afterwards and start surveying the damage. And hopefully they won't find any. If all the predictions come true, they'll be able to take down those tarps and find nothing damaged behind it. But obviously, Ken, we'll find out in about 3 minutes that is the critical area. Doug Loazzo has said all along, if they break 5 panes of glass, people are going to point to them and say, you screwed up, this wasn't a successful implosion. That's a pretty tight tolerance when you consider how many tons of steel and concrete they're bringing down only 85 feet away from the new stadium.
Right. Also, Three Rivers Stadium sits next to a lot of ramps and bridges, and there are PennDOT inspectors on scene here, too, that'll be making quick inspections to make sure all of the integrity of the road system is in place before traffic is allowed to flow again. John, I want to ask you one more time about the last-minute preparations. Where is Doug Loazzo right now? We'll talk for a few more seconds, and then we'll stop and just listen.
Okay, we'll show you. Doug Loazzo is now up on the stage with the Kings. He is in touch with the folks who actually have the real switch, and when he gives the cue, Joe King and his mom Liz will push down on the plunger, and then everything will happen in front of us and we'll see the thing come down. You know, another point that I want to make sure that people are aware of is the whole point of bringing this down, of course, is for the future, to be able to clear, make the parking lots and make the roads. The Steelers are especially anxious for this because without the roads that will be made way for with Three Rivers going down, you can't get to the new Steelers Stadium. So this is especially critical. Let's go back up here to where the plunger is, listen to Doug Loazzo and all the things that are about that. Ken, is the warning that we're coming up on about the 1 minute mark.
Good luck. Go. Good luck.
And there you hear one of the final warning sirens.
Pull it up and hold it up.
We're going to watch and listen now. We'll talk to you on the other side.
right, Mark, warm it up and tell me when you're in the red. Showtime.
Right now. In the red.
All right, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, 1, fire.
So scary when it just sits there.
Tom Dowd, get Bob in there with the PennDOT. Start inspecting.
Congratulations. Were you okay?
That was good, wasn't it?
You got somebody looking up close here.
Yeah, they said it looked fine. You know,
Amazing to be able to just sit there for those years.
Yeah.
How could you say?
And what you get is we're still going to have that steel section intact, and some of the ramps are going to be a little
Did you
funky.
see the one on television in Ireland? They tried to blow
Yeah.
up and it stuck.
I bid that job, and somebody came in at 1/3 my price.
Doug?
They look perfect.
Looks good. It's dust right now. We're ready
They
to head
said
over. We'll be
Steelers
back
is
to you
good.
shortly.
Yeah.
So what did it look like, Doug?
Go to the new stadium. You got to wait for the dust to clear. It looked great from here. You know, first blush is the new stadium looks fine. It was fun. No, it looked good. As we said, you'll have some steel sticking in the air. I saw one section of the top, but you know, it looked like it was a very safe and successful project.
Came down as you expected.
Well, you know, from this vantage point, but we're 1,500 feet away.
More dust than you expected?
No, and the reason the dust is hanging around as long as it is there's a lack of breeze, but this dust isn't much.
I know you want to go check on things. Yeah. Thanks for talking to us, Doug Loazo from Controlled Demolition. Ken, looks like you may get some dust heading your way.
Is that beautiful?
No problem.
No, we want to.
Talking about the wind blowing. Good job, man. That's great.
Thanks.
He took a look at it.
The blue one.
Mark is going in right now.
Okay.
Tom?
All right, we are getting...
When are you going in with the cameras?
Right now.
Andy, right now.
Okay, thanks. How do you assess it?
You look great. You look great.
When you say go in, what does it mean?
What a show.
We have PennDOT. Our first priority is to get the interstate ramps open. So they're going in there to inspect those
We're listening to Doug Loazo, the master of this explosion, talking about one of the first priorities being PennDOT inspecting ramps, the Fort Duquesne Bridge, making sure everything is safe before they reopen the area to traffic here. I think I can safely take my mask off because the dust cloud is not as bad as we feared, although people in the crowd are rapidly leaving. The spectacle is over, the implosion, the fireworks are done, and people are getting out of the cold. But from this vantage point, about 1,000 feet right across the Allegheny River, it seemed to go exactly as planned. Dramatic, unbelievable to watch it happen before your eyes. The skyline of Pittsburgh now changed forever. And as John Shumway was talking about right before the blast, the key thing that the demolition experts and the Sports and Exhibition Authority and the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be looking at is that 85-foot gap between where Three Rivers stood and the new Steelers Stadium now stands. There's an aerial view. You see the dust cloud spreading out. This picture courtesy of the Goodyear blimp. We're wiping the dust off of our monitor so I can get a good look at this, but we're still pretty much enshrouded in dust, so I can't give you a good eyewitness description of how the new Steelers Stadium fared, but I'm certain that people are over there right now taking a good close look at it. You think about all we've been anticipating and how we've been looking forward to these 18 or 19 seconds
Ken?
and being told what to expect.
Ken, I don't mean to interrupt, but I want to tell you, we have a photographer who was in position to see the gap between the Steelers Stadium and the new stadium. Steve Willing, he was up in Community College of Allegheny County looking down. He says it looks like absolutely nothing hit the new stadium, that it came down cleanly and the new stadium came through it perfectly, which is a big relief. And that was the first thing that Doug Loazzo wanted to know. And one of his crews reported back it looked good. We've now got that confirmed from Steve Willing, our photographer, who was up in CCAC and had a bird's eye view of it.
John Shumway, thanks for that quick word. That is good to hear. You're seeing some of the people abandoning Point State Park. The show is over here, but we're still waiting for this dust cloud to lift, and we'll get an idea of what Pittsburgh looks like now. For 30 years, we've been accustomed to that postcard shot.
Please return to the bleachers.
All right, I'm being told that we're going to take a look at a slow motion shot now of that gap between Three River Stadium and the new Steelers Stadium. If we have that ready, let's go ahead and take a look at the videotape. Let's watch. Just what they expected, I'm sure. Three River Stadium coming down and the new Steelers Stadium covered with the canvas. It appears to have been no damage at all. Another view. That image will be seen nationwide, coast to coast. A lot of interest in this, not only here in Pittsburgh, but all over the United States. And what it leaves behind now is these mounds of debris, 100,000 plus tons of concrete, 8,000 tons of steel. This concrete, some of it will be crushed right there on site, and it will be used as fill for a new riverfront park. Some of it will be going up to Leetsdale to be part of the fill for an industrial park going in there. And some of it will just be trucked away and end up in a landfill in Ohio. And then you've got the 8,000 tons of structural steel that just came down. Some of that will be sold to scrap dealers. That's worth a lot of money. $500,000 is one estimate that we've heard. And these go to, the funds go to the demolition company. That's part of their deal, is that they get to do what they can with the remains of Three River Stadium. All right, it was quite a show. Let's go over to Brenda Waters, who watched it along with some of the thousands of people here at the Point. Brenda?
Hey, Ken. We're turning the camera around right now. I have some folks standing here with me. One is a Cleveland Browns fan, but he came in today. Tell me, what's your reaction to all this?
It's very sad to see it go. Sad moment in sports because my Browns, a lot of memories down here. Browns, Steelers, great rivalry. Now it moves on for a new generation.
All right, okay then. Okay, what's your name?
Nicole.
Nicole, you've been here for a while. You were here before I got here this morning, and you've been waiting for this. Your reaction to this now?
It was great. I mean, that stadium came down in less than what they said it was going to come down. And I've been coming to Three Rivers since I was a year old with my dad. And I miss it, yes, but I can't wait till PNC and the new Steelers Stadium open.
All right, thanks, Nicole. Okay, and you said a little prayer. You said when the stadium went down.
Yeah, I said it was like a farewell to an old friend. I said, "So long, old friend. I'll see you in heaven."
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Good.
I'm breathing Three Rivers right now. It's in my mouth. I can't believe it. So that's what it tastes like.
Okay. All right. Did you feel anything when it went down?
Yeah, saw my first baseball game here. Little shot to the heart. So, little memories going by.
Well, thanks for your reaction, guys. Sir, any reaction from you?
Oh, it was great. I'll never forget it. It's a lifetime memories. It was beautiful.
All right. Okay, thank you. Ken?
All right, Brenda, what was it like in the crowd as it was happening, as the blasts were going off and the stadium started to crumble? Let's take a look at a piece of tape, the fan's eye view.
I was singing it. Blow on the windows.
go back inside Gateway Center now to Stacy Smith and Patrice King-Brown. Guys?
All right, thank you, Ken. You know, from our vantage point in here, Patrice, for me, it was that delay. You heard the explosions, you saw those little flickers of light,
Right.
and then finally, it seemed like maybe this thing is going to
I know,
come down.
there's for a moment you're thinking, it might not happen.
This is what I'm happy to see our director pull this up. This is from the Goodyear blimp. This is now, from the aerial view, we can see what Three River Stadium, what formerly was Three River Stadium, now looks like.
And this is the change, the beginnings of the change, the Pittsburgh Skyline. As you can see, the other two stadiums, you see the Steelers stadiums close by, and then, of course, not on your screen at this moment is PNC Park, but it is definitely a change in all that smoke. Although it's not as bad as I think anybody anticipated.
No,
You know, the cloud and the dust.
I think this is our from our Skyline, and this must be from the boat, I believe, where we have a camera positioned. To see what was Three River Stadium. I think our sports guys, John Steigerwald and Bob Pompiani and Ed Bouchette, are also standing by in our newsroom. And was it bittersweet for you? I know it wasn't for you, John. You thought that this is nothing but a pimple, but
At least as a baseball stadium.
as a baseball stadium.
Ed Bouchette left. He wanted to go outside and see, and I have to admit, we were also told not to leave the seats, but we
did anyway.
We went against the directions. We run out. We have a great view right outside the door here, John, so we couldn't pass that up, could we?
No, and you could feel it. We're here at Gateway Center, obviously, and on the side of the building facing the stadium. And we were holding the door open, and the windows here in the building were rattling. So
yes,
we could feel it here
I'm
in
sure
the
you guys
studio.
felt it in there.
Yes,
Yeah. So anybody who was downtown, they felt it, and not only emotionally. If you felt it emotionally, you felt it physically.
You know, the interesting thing here, too, you see these structures, these big structures of steel that are still standing, are part of the stadium there. Now, that looks like part of the stadium didn't make it down all the way. Or am I looking at the new stadium?
That's the new stadium.
That's the new stadium. Okay.
And we'd be in big trouble if that were the case. Another one.
Well, no, because the outer rim, the upper rim of the stadium was supposed to just come down and collapse on top of the other sections. So there will still be part of the stadium.
I'm a little concerned. I left a pair of sunglasses over there on that last game against the Redskins. Do you think if I got over there that somebody might have gotten those?
They may be able to find it for you.
Yeah, John, they'll look for you for that.
You know, it's interesting. We talked to Dan Rooney, who had obviously mixed reactions about this thing because of so many great memories. But I asked him, I said, where are you going to be, Mr. Rooney? He said, well, I have many options. He was invited on a private boat, you know, going up and down the rivers. He could have done that. But he's also a licensed pilot. And he said, I'd be curious to be up in the air. So I'm not sure what he did, John, but he had many options.
I was just thinking of something as I'm looking at, you can see the new ballpark, PNC Park there, and I saw a lot of people in the crowd who were obviously not old enough to have seen baseball games at Forbes Field, and I've been thinking about this a lot and talking to a lot of the guys who grew up here and my friends and people like that who saw games at Forbes Field. There is an entire generation of baseball fans who will be going to games here at PNC Park this year who have never seen a baseball game in the kind of a ballpark where a baseball game is supposed to be seen. If anybody feels bad about what you're looking at right there, that pile of rubble, it'll be over. The minute you see you'll see what a bad baseball park that was the minute you step into PNC Park.
Okay. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and this is a perfect example of it when you just keep this memory in mind, and you won't be feeling sad at all the first time you set foot in that new baseball park.
I think you're right, John. That's part of the structure I was telling you about that was still going to be left there. John Shumway, Patrice, I think, is standing by with
Yes,
something.
at the command center. John?
Pass along a couple of things to you guys. Number one, we have somebody who has been inside the Steelers' new stadium. There were, as we've told you all along, cameras inside Three Rivers. Those cameras were wired to recorders inside the new Steelers stadium. Now, the folks who went in to get the videotapes out of those machines say that they have seen the windows from the inside, and it appears that none of the windows were broken inside the new Steelers stadium, which is obviously one of the things they were concerned about. At this point, CDI and their crews are going in to do a post-implosion check. A couple of things they're looking for. Number one, they want to make sure that all of the explosives went off. They can do that quickly by looking around and just by the way things fell. If something doesn't look right, if it looks differently than what they expected, then at that point they'll be concerned that possibly they have a charge that didn't go off, but they don't really expect that to happen. The other thing is just to see if it came down the way they wanted it to. Now, I heard, Stacy, you mentioned something about It looked like some of it was still standing. The steel superstructure of the roof, as you see there, is sitting right on top of all the concrete that came down. That is exactly what was supposed to happen. They actually expected some of those pieces to be sticking way up in the air, and I don't think they're up in the air nearly as far as they anticipated. They were able to drop, and if you think about this, it's pretty incredible. 5 levels of concrete down into what used to be the first level and just a little bit of the second level. That is a lot of concrete compressed down into a very small area.
That is.
What'll happen throughout the day today, though, is they'll start getting in there to dig through it, Stace.
All right, you nailed it, John, exactly the way it was going to happen. This is a replay, once again, as to the stadium coming down. You should see there, you see those little flashes. And look how long it takes.
It stays.
It just stands there, and then on the left side, we'll start to see it to come down first.
Yeah, the area around Gate D will drop first,
right,
and, as expected. And according to Doug Loazzo, it was pretty much right on the money what they anticipated would happen.
This, of course, is a slow motion view of it, so it's even taking longer than it seemed to. There it goes, right over there. It's exactly the way they wanted it to happen, wasn't it, John?
Yeah, right on the money, and it comes around, dropping, you see the marquee and stuff there around Gate C, dropping down and out. Notice how it drops out.
Yes.
That's what they meant it to do. They felt like if they tried to drop it all straight down, it basically wouldn't fit. That's why they had to drop the gates out and the rest of the portion in, so there was room for that area next to the stadium to actually come in, next to the new stadium to come in. Now,
this is another vantage point we have to see it come down. This is in real time, and you can see it just comes crashing right, tumbling right down, and then the fireworks.
Yeah, the fireworks.
The Zambelli folks were right on the money, weren't they?
I tell you, John, the only thing we're missing here is a parade starting at the Mellon Arena and making its way all the way down to the point.
Maybe Bianchi Trison will put some of the debris in, and we can run them down the parade routers out there. But Bianchi Trison for the next 3 to 4 hours will be cleaning up. They're running street sweepers. They're trying to get the area reestablished, and then they'll start attacking all that stuff.
By the way, I don't know if you can see it, John. This is one of the best vantage points we've had so far, to see that superstructure from the top that did not just come to pieces. It's still in large pieces like that.
Yeah.
Just came down and sat right down on top of it like they expected
we were talking
it to do.
about how we felt it here at the stadium. We've been receiving calls that people in Finleyville and Monroeville felt it fall, and are now starting to see the smoke as well. And all the dust. And speaking of the dust, we know Ken's been standing in it for a while. Let's go down to Ken Rice at the point. Ken?
Boy, Patrice, it really was not that bad. We really, I don't think, took the full hit of it over here at the point. It started heading to the west, sort of down toward the Ohio River, and maybe that's where we're hearing from people who are getting it now. But not bad here, and it's cleared up beautifully, and we have a great view of the North Shore now, I guess, as it must have looked back in the 60s when it was just an industrial wasteland over there before they started building Three Rivers. If John Shumway is still with us, John, I hope you are, because I want to ask you about that easternmost wall, the side closest to PNC. That's the part that doesn't look, from my vantage point, as if it was fully imploded. Was it?
What you are seeing, Ken, is actually the superstructure of the roof. I mean, we're on that side, and it's pretty much down. The only thing that really is sticking up is the remainder of the roof. And what you see on that side is what was anticipated to look like all the way around. I think the roof actually broke a little bit better for them in other areas. Look at the picture that you're seeing. You almost, if you look at it, it looks like a V sitting on its side. What they did was they went through and pre-cut what would be the bottom of that V, so that the idea was it would all collapse down. Obviously, that section didn't quite collapse as much as the rest of it, but bringing that superstructure down and sitting on top of the concrete is what they expected. I think that they probably didn't cut that steel quite far enough, but that really isn't a problem.
The interesting thing, too, if you take a look at this blimp shot, guys, is that there's not much debris in the middle of Three River Stadium. It just fell right down.
I guess I could have been in there after all, Stacey.
Yeah, you're right. We had mentioned that, John. You were going to be assigned to that position. You could have stayed there. Yeah.
Well, it'll be interesting now to see the view from those cameras that were inside.
Yeah,
that will be fascinating.
Can I ask
see the place crumble?
Ken and John, is traffic moving again now?
All right, we're going to take another look now.
No, it is not. They still have it closed off. I did talk to the guys from PennDOT. They have done their inspections. They do not find any structural damage. But to give you an idea of what it would take to damage those roads, when I talked to the folks, they said on a seismic scale, they would have to get a reading of 2 to do damage to the roads. They anticipated this would be less than a 0.5 reading. And based on the way it came down, they may have even gotten less than that. So they didn't expect any damage. The main thing is they got to clean all the dust off the road before they can reopen it. And they expect to do that very shortly. Not yet, though, Stacy.
That's a beautiful shot we have from the Goodyear blimp just a moment ago, showing it what it looks like now.
And look at the river. I mean, it's a beautiful day here now.
It is.
If you look out, it's a gorgeous morning, and now you can see a lot of boat traffic.
It's
People
a new dawn, a new time period for Pittsburgh, and it's sports stadiums and enthusiasm of what the future will hold for it.
Stacy and Patrice.
Yes.
John and I have been discussing what I don't know what the future holds for that particular site over there, but what is the early reading? What's going to go over there?
What's going to be in between there and when?
We had been told, I understand, that there were going to be it was going to be parking and roadways, because as John Shumway mentioned earlier, if the roadways were not placed there, no one could access the brand new Steelers Stadium. At this point, there's no way to get there.
Patrice, what will be there is up in the air at this point. There will be, we can tell you the immediate future, they'll cut 3 120-foot wide paths for roads through the area. As you're looking at that picture right there, one will go on the left-hand side. That will be the continuation of North Shore Drive. One will go right through the center. That will be the continuation of General Robinson Street. And then the third road will actually be across the top, right beside the Steelers' new stadium. That will be Steelers Way and will actually become a big party zone prior to Steelers football games. The rest of the area, the Rooneys have talked about putting in an amphitheater in the upper left-hand corner of your picture, right there where Steelers Way hits North Shore Drive, and then other, as they say, retail and entertainment developments in the other areas. But we still don't know exactly what that will be, and at this point, no developers have stepped forward to do it.
John, what I was thinking about was in the immediate future. I mean, you're going to have baseball games played there within the next, within 2 months. I mean, what is going to be there before an amphitheater is there, and is it just going to be a pile of rubble for 6 months, or how are they going to keep that cleaned up?
It'll all be out of there by April the 27th is a deadline when all of the debris should be gone. The immediate deadline is March the 19th to get the roadways cleared and start constructing those. There will be a temporary North Shore Drive built around the Steelers Stadium and around the debris of Three Rivers and cut through Lot 4, so that if you're coming to the ball games at PNC Park on opening night or any time in the first month or so, what you'll have is a temporary road that will take you around the Steelers' new stadium and Three Rivers and over to PNC Park. And then eventually, when the road is cut through the debris and they're able to build it, they'll have the new road there. Then, John, to answer the rest of your question, April the 27th, once they get all of the debris from Three Rivers out of there, they're going to build surface parking lots. They will be in existence until whatever development comes, and they anticipate those will be open for parking. Probably we're looking at sometime around June or July for the last half of the Pirates season, and certainly there for the open of play at the Rooney's new stadium, whatever they're going to call that.
And one last thing I wanted to throw in there, not on this shot, but one of the earlier shots from across the river, I think the people at CCAC are going to be real happy with this, because you can see that they exist. Right there.
Yeah, they got a great
Look at that.
view,
Nobody's ever seen that.
That's very good point, John.
Property all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had to be on the other side of Three River Stadium to be able to see it.
There they are. They're prominently displayed now.
Yeah, maybe they'll put up a big neon sign or something.
Right.
And Stacy, they have now reopened the roads. So obviously it's the all clear on structural integrity of the roads. Traffic is flowing again through downtown, and I would imagine there will be a few people come by just to drive by and take a look throughout the day.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm sure there will. Go ahead.
I was just going to tell you that they've reopened the river as well. You know, the stadium is gone, but 22 minutes here, and the vultures are coming by to inspect the carcass. I'm looking across the Allegheny now. We've got 3 Gateway Clipper boats. The Keystone Bell is right up there in front, getting a good close-up look at the rubble there. And we've got the blimp overhead. We've got helicopters overhead. I guess they're going to start letting the barges through here again now. So on the roads and on the rivers, traffic is getting back to normal. And it's just going to be, you know, amazing to think that when this is parking lots and it is roads and whatever development that it was, you know, it'll sort of be like Oakland when you're standing at that old wall from Forbes Field. You'll have to remind yourself that, you know, you might be standing or having a burger or parking your car where Franco caught the Immaculate Reception.
Yeah, it's. I have to ask you, Ken, what's your gut reaction when when the smoke was or the dust cleared and you look back over there and it wasn't there anymore?
Yeah, it's stunning. I'm staring at it now, and I still am not quite believing my eyes. You know, you just became so. That was just ingrained in your mental image of Pittsburgh. You think of that postcard view, the Golden Triangle, and that big bowl off to the left. And you know, to look at it now and not see that bowl there, my mind doesn't quite believe what my eyes are looking at. And again, you know, once this area is developed and that Riverfront Park is in, and it looks the way that it's supposed to look in a year from now or 2 years or whatever it is, it's going to be even harder to remember that there used to be that big concrete bowl there. Not that I'm going to miss the bowl,
right?
As much like John Steigerwald, I was never a fan of the aesthetics of the place. But you know, you think about all the history that happened there, and it is amazing to think that just in those 19-20 seconds, it all vanished.
It did.
Hey, Stacy.
Yes, John.
You know, we've done an awful lot of stories the last 2 weeks about this place, and I'm sitting at dinner with my 14-year-old son, Clay, on Friday night, and he said, "Hey, Dad, what are they going to do about all the road signs that say Three Rivers Stadium?"
I had never thought of that, John.
I hadn't thought of it, so I called PennDOT.
Oh, of course. You're good buddies, yeah.
Yeah, I talked to Dick Scringer, and he says, well, we've been thinking about that, and at this point, they're not going to do anything.
Okay.
They figure anybody who hasn't been living under a rock knows it's not there now.
It's not there anymore.
And what they're going to do is, eventually, they're going to mark the North Shore as what is here, PNC Park, whatever the Roonies name their stadium. But because Mellon Bank paid PennDOT to put the Mellon Arena name on the road signs, PennDOT says, well, you know, that's the precedent, so PNC's going to have to cough up the money to put PNC Park on signs, and the Roonies, or whoever their sponsor is, are going to have to cough up the money to put that name on the sign. They have to wait till the Roonies make a decision. I talked to Cy Holzer about it last night from PNC. He says they're ready. They've been ready for a while to do that. So look for new road signs, but not until the Roonies name their new stadium and are willing to pay for it.
John, do you have any idea about parking tomorrow? Are commuters going to be able to head over that way at all?
Absolutely. The parking lots will be open. Alco will be there to collect their $3, and you will be able to park next to the rubble just as you have been as they've been preparing for this. But let me add something about that, Patrice. You know, you all were talking about the number of people who are coming by to gawk and they're taking pictures. No doubt, a lot of people have in mind, I want to get a rock from this place,
right,
especially now that it's down.
Yeah.
Well, the security people are still here. They're going to be here, and they're not letting anybody into this site. And as you can see from the pictures, there wasn't anything blown out beyond that security fence, and the security fence is well in place. So don't even think about coming down here thinking that it's wide open, you can pick up debris and walk out. The fact is it's going to be very tight security, and they want to make sure, partly because it's still a demolition site and it's not safe, and they don't want anybody getting hurt.
No, in fact, they will be bringing in the heavy equipment, the cranes and the bulldozers and everything else now to start clearing that rubble away and putting them into trucks to haul it out of there. So there's going to be a lot of activity and still a dangerous area just for people, because while something may be standing right now, gravity will take its toll and pull something down.
Sure,
Yeah.
and there'll be shifting, and we have to remember those security dogs, John, you pointed out the other day.
Yeah, they were
remind
nasty.
people those dogs are out there, that's right.
Something else I want to throw in here about the new stadium. Having traveled with the Steelers the last several years, I've seen an unbelievable amount, actually, of new stadiums. And again, any nostalgia you have for the place that just blew up, blew in, I guess would be the correct term, that's fine, and those memories will never go away. But when you place yourself inside that stadium, if you've been in Three Rivers for a football game, you will not believe the difference between the way it's going to be watching a game in that place you're looking at right there and the one that just disappeared.
There's no doubt about it.
The other thing we should point out,
over on the North Shore also with, not the North Shore, I'm sorry, on the Point
On
State
Point,
Park.
Brenda's over there.
Brenda.
Brenda, you've got some people with you?
Hey guys, I have some friends here. I have two VIP young men here with me. Hi guys.
Hi.
Now that the dust has cleared, what do you think?
Bunch of rubble.
Bunch of rubble.
Yeah.
You think you'll miss it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's just rubble right now, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, now you guys were taking pictures here?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, tell me about that. Your VIPs and how'd that come about?
It was okay. Last name Zambelli.
Okay, your last name is Zambelli?
Yeah.
Oh, their last name is Zambelli. Okay.
That explains a few things.
Okay, you get to get some good pictures?
Yeah.
Okay, what about you guys? What do you think about this? The dust is cleared. You can see what it really looks like now. What are you feeling?
It was fun. Fun to watch it go down.
How about you?
It's cold.
It's cold. I'm with you on that, sister. Okay, what do you think now? The dust is cleared. You can see that it's no longer there. The stadium is gone. What are you guys thinking?
I don't know. It was great. Just sad to see it go.
Are you glad you got up this early to come out?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Looking forward to the new ones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any special memories you want to tell me about from the stadium?
I was a bat boy for the Pirates last year, so.
Oh, were you?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm looking forward to the new ones, though.
Are you too old to be a bat boy this season?
No, I don't think so.
You're going to apply for the job?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Then. Okay, sir, how about you? Any regrets about getting up this early?
No regrets at all. It just was over so fast. I mean, I wanted to see more, you know, a boom. And
Oh, you wanted the implosion to go on for like 10, 15 minutes or so?
yeah, I wanted to see, let the dust clear now, but it's just a bunch of rubble now. It's like bricks and steel twisted.
Ah, that was the idea. And I love that hat.
I was a little too close.
Just blew your hat off?
That's right. But it was fun.
All right.
Enjoyed it.
All right. Then. How about you?
I enjoyed it because I'm really from Chicago. I've been here 23 years, and I had an opportunity to be in that stadium when we had Donnie Shell and Keith Gary. They used to go to my church, Pentecost Temple, and they used to give me tickets. And Bill Robinson, when he played for the Pirates, he used to give me tickets, and I used to sit there with his wife a lot.
Okay, so
I
you
had
have some
great
special memories too.
Yeah, and then
All right.
also I worked on PNC Park, so I got history and great memories.
Okay.
So.
I can't stop this man from talking. Okay, Karen, thanks, guys.
It's an emotional morning, Brenda, for him and for a lot of us,
Yeah.
watching that stadium crumble before our eyes. You know, we've been so focused on this implosion locally that maybe you didn't realize that what was going on here this morning attracted some national attention as well. In fact, on Super Bowl Sunday, the New York Times Magazine did a big piece on the impending implosion of Three River Stadium. I want to read you just a couple of quotes from that about the national view, a view from New York City of what Three Rivers was all about. Three River Stadium, the article said, was the place where anyone who'd ever been made to feel small just for being from Pittsburgh finally got to watch his football team beat up any other city foolish enough to send in theirs. And the problem wasn't simply that Three Rivers was graceless, sitting like a giant gray ashtray on the riverside, or that it was dank in the spring and blistering in summertime, or that its sight lines were terrible, or that it was too cavernous for baseball. Three Rivers isn't physically obsolete, says Mark Schneider, chairman of the Stadium Authority. It's economically obsolete. And finally, in Pittsburgh, the handshake between sports and religion is so firm that it can be hard to tell where one hand stops and the other begins. At least a few Steeler fans, thanks to their equally devoted next of kin, had their ashes quietly strewn on the bright
Ken, I'm going to interrupt you. We have, I believe, this is video from inside.
All right, we were telling you
This is
about
the first video from
five
inside.
cameras inside Three River Stadium. We've got the videotape ready for you now. Let's take our first look.
Now, let me explain to you why that happened. Now, I haven't had a chance to talk to the people, but this is something that we anticipated. All of those cameras had cables running out and going to the recorders. Now, if you remember, the portion of the stadium that went down first was the area around Gate D, which is where those cables were. We anticipated that those cables were going to be cut by the falling debris. Here's another view. Can't really tell which way we're looking. But undoubtedly what happened, and this happened when they did the Kingdom, was that debris came down and cut those cables. That's why the video only goes so far. But look at the bottom of your screen. You see the flashes. Those are the dynamite actually going off. Actually, the flashes you see are the explosive detonator wires. Then the dynamite goes off, and then you see it starting to fall, and then it goes to black when the cable gets cut.
Wow, that is interesting view from there. I don't know if our director, Don, can bring this back up again, but I think it must be from the blimp. But John, you would be interested in this because you talked about how that what do you call it, that walkway, the crosswalk, whatever the terminology used for that thing, back and forth, the ramp, closest to
the switchback ramps.
Switchback, that's what I'm trying to say. The one closest to Three River Stadium, we had a replay a moment ago that showed that one going out before anything else did, which is exactly what they wanted. Once again, this
is another of the inside views.
Yeah, let's take a look here. There are the flashes.
And here it comes.
And part of the reason they say don't be inside is those flashes shoot rock projectiles through the stadium. So you always have the chance of getting hit if you're inside.
Wow, it just goes to a certain point, and then I guess the cable was cut there.
And it disappears. And it would be actually quite dangerous to be inside. You don't want to be inside anyway when something like that's going on all around you. It's amazing, yes.
Stacy, let me point out also, back to what Ken was talking about national attention. There has been a crew here for more than a week from CBS Productions, as in our television network, shooting a documentary about Three Rivers. I had a chance to talk to one of the producers here this morning, and she tells me that they are putting together not only a documentary about the implosion, and here's another inside view coming up, but also about what Three Rivers Stadium meant, kind of along the same vein of what Ken was talking about in the New York Times article. You know, that Steeler teams of the Super Bowl years were so popular around the country, you know, much rivaling Dallas for the team of the country kind of title, that it means a lot to a lot of people. So they're putting together a documentary, and I think she told me it's going to be on the air in April.
All right. Well, we will look forward to that one, too. That was interesting, this last inside explosion shot that we saw, Patrice, because if you notice on the right-hand side, it started to, you could see things start to crumble there long before the entire structure started to come down.
It is amazing. You know, when you watch it, it is amazing, actually, the control, because it's such a massive structure, and to see it come down as controlled as it did. Obviously, CDI did a wonderful job.
Now watch in here, you'll see the explosions, and then I think you'll start to see little bits of debris start to fall. Oh, this is a new angle, so I haven't seen this one yet.
We'll see what happens with this one.
Let's see what happens.
Look at the bottom, you'll see those flashes.
There go flashes.
Look at the birds taking off.
Smart birds.
Yeah. Figured, hey, this is probably not the place to be.
And there we go. And we'll go to black again, probably. Whoa, that one stayed up a little bit longer.
Here's another replay. This is the other, yeah.
That last view was toward the Steelers Stadium, and you actually saw the new Steelers Stadium appear in the background as it was coming down. And that would have been the section that actually cut the cables.
Now you see the debris start to fall down in there, and then all of a sudden the rest of it will start to go. There we go.
Anybody want to use billboard?
Hey, John Shumway, you talked about the new stadium a lot. Have we heard any naming rights? Early on, we heard Marconi was going to be, you know, involved, and then something fell through there. And the Rooneys have been very deliberate in their getting this done. Have you heard any names at all being floated about?
Not lately, Bob. That's the latest that we heard. We had heard that, and that it apparently, I don't know whether it fell through or if it's just on hold, but they're being very quiet about that. Again, this is that same view, I believe, going over toward the Steelers Stadium, the last view we saw. If you look right before video goes dark, you see the Steelers Stadium. And we should also point out the people getting into the new Steelers Stadium up on the club and the luxury suite level are getting the first view that up to now we've only seen in virtual reality of what it will look like out of the Steelers' new stadium looking toward the city, that great skyline view that you see the one from PNC Park. Well, now you can see the other one from the Steelers Stadium as well.
These are fascinating pictures from inside the stadium, and there's enough of it there to you get the feeling exactly how it started to come down like that. Now we also have a picture here. This is, I think,
from
this is the one that Steve Willing took from up at CCAC.
This was that bird's eye view from the north side. You can see what happens here. I think in just a second we'll start to see those flashes.
This is the view of Patrice and Stacy.
Right, from CCAC.
From CCAC.
Looking
from the
back,
community college, right?
Looking back toward you, but we can't see you, Ken. The stadium's blocked.
Well in a second.
That's
right. Well in a second.
Yeah, Bob, you're right.
You're right about that. Any moment now, we'll start to see there we go, the explosions.
This may be the slow motion view that we're going to see here. I think you're right. So those blasts would be in progress now.
That switchback ramp will go. Well,
and that is pulled in by wires to make sure it didn't fall back into the Steelers Stadium.
See, yeah, so you can see, again, the control that was involved in this.
It looks like they just got dusted.
Got dusted. It is amazing that close, too, that there was no damage to the new stadium with that cut. Because we felt vibration here. People all over the place have been feeling it, the impact of it as it falls, and yet no damage right next door.
And that, of course, is from the other side.
Right.
David Bianchi of Bianchi Trice, the main contractor with the demolition here, referred to this job as really no big deal. He said, you know, when you look at the other projects that they've been involved in, skyscrapers in the heart of business districts, projects not unlike the 500 Wood Street building that was brought down in 1997 to make room for Lazarus, much more challenging. We've been very focused on this one area, that little corner there that was so close to the new Steelers Stadium, but overall, in the opinion of the experts here, this was not all that difficult a job. All right, we're going to take a break now. We'll come back and continue our coverage. Now it's the countdown to the cleanup of Three Rivers Stadium. Don't go away.
Patrice King Brown, Ken Rice, committed to telling the story with no hype, just the truth, and part of the most respected news team in Pittsburgh.
Everyday ordinary kids are making extraordinary contributions to our communities. If you know one, nominate him or her for the Coles Scholarship Program. The Coles Kids Who Care program recognizes kids who volunteered in their communities. Visit your local Coles for a nomination form and rules. The deadline is March 15th.
Business helping business. Every day, companies work together to help one another. Plans are discussed, decisions are made, work becomes more productive, and people are employed. By networking, communicating, planning, and selling, you'll see that our local companies just might have the service or solution you're looking for. Do business with local business and make a difference in our hometown.
Brought to you by Cannonsburg General Hospital and Forbes Regional Hospital, members of the West Penn Allegheny Health System, the provider of choice.
All right, welcome back to Point State Park. Ken Rice overlooking Three Rivers rubble, I guess we'll call it now. Hundreds of thousands of tons of steel and concrete, and they'll have to get busy clearing that away in time for the Pirates' home opener April 9th against Cincinnati at the new PNC Park. John Shumway, we've been talking about all those thousands of pounds of dynamite, thousands of holes drilled into hundreds of columns. Do they have any idea yet if everything successfully detonated and this really did go as planned, as it appears to have gone?
That is exactly the indication we are getting. They have made the sweep around the stadium, and it does appear that everything went off as anticipated that it would be. 4,800 pounds of dynamite is what ended up being the amount needed to bring the place down in somewhere around 2,800 holes drilled on 5 levels of columns, all wired together. If you just think about the enormity of that, it's pretty incredible. And then when you think about the gap that you're looking at between Three Rivers Stadium and the new Steelers Stadium is only 85 feet. To bring that down, to pull it away from the stadium, and from all indications from the folks that we've talked to, no damage done to the Steelers' new stadium. It's nothing short of incredible. But this was also incredibly necessary in order to get to the next step, to get PNC Park open and to get the Steelers' new stadium open and the roads it needs. And the work on that begins immediately.
Standing on the fresh concrete of the new North. Objective after the implosion is clear. This road needs somewhere to go.
Richard and his crews will immediately come in and begin cutting 120-foot right-of-ways in these sections through the present site of Three Rivers Stadium.
Richard Stern and Bianchi Trice won't get to the rubble immediately.
We'll do whatever cleanup is necessary and try to open up the site for normal use and activity within about 2 to 4 hours.
Then the attack is on.
And it's just moving through and reducing the debris, the pile of concrete and steel. So we'll just have people cutting the rebar and trimming the material so it can be loaded out to the proper disposal sites.
And loaded out quickly.
We think we can get done clearing the rubble in the 120-foot right-of-ways by mid-March. Now, what happens then in mid-March is we start to get into good construction seasons.
At the new Steelers Stadium, where bathroom fixtures are now being installed, the need to cut paths quickly through Three Rivers Stadium is much deeper than the road surface.
There's a tie-in to utilities that are going to come down General Robinson Street when it's extended across the site where Three Rivers now stands. Our sanitary system needs to tie into that system to actually make the building function.
So it's critical that those two 120-foot paths are blazed through the Three Rivers rubble on time by March 19th.
Our plans have been established to do just that. And then the third road, which is, I think, is Steelers Way, is called for to be ready by the 31st of March. So we feel that we're going to be on schedule with that.
In fact, Bianchi Trison is scheduled to have the entire site cleared by April 27th.
April 27th allows us to go in there and start tackling the temporary surface lots, which will be open then about the third week of July, available for, obviously for football season, but also for the balance of the baseball season.
So if you're a Pirate fan coming to opening day, or for that matter, for the first month or so at PNC Park, you will go past rubble at Three Rivers Stadium as it is being cleared away. But those roads will be getting in there very quickly. But most importantly for the Steelers' new stadium, they need to get that sewer line in there. Because, Ken, generally speaking, when fans go to the football game, they have need for a substantial sewer system.
Yes, I think that's a very wise thing that they focus on early. John, you were talking about the security, making sure that people weren't tempted to go over to the rubble now and try to claim a souvenir. I don't know how good the security is because, well, hold on, I'm going to take a look now. Can you see this? Let me ask Scott to zoom in here. Right across the river, we've got people walking in what was the blast zone half an hour ago. Can you see these people?
Oh, yeah. Down along the river.
Right along the shore there. Right along the shore. In fact, I've already seen people back on this side of the river with chunks of debris. So, you know, I'm wondering where that security. See this guy running up the hill?
Of course,
where's
the question
security,
becomes,
John?
What's he getting a chunk of?
And how safe is he? You know,
well,
that can't be a stable scene over there.
No, the depth perception there for you on that side of the river and for our camera is kind of deceptive. There is probably a good 150 feet at least between where he is standing and where that rubble is. There's a large area. Remember North Shore Drive that went around the outside of the stadium? There was a lot of area between that and the inner circle parking before you got to the wall of Three Rivers, and that debris did not come very far out, as we've seen from our pictures from the air. So there's a good distance between them and the actual debris. So they're not that close to it, although camera sure makes it look like it. And by the way, Ken, just got word from CDI. The word is they are ecstatic about how this went.
Good to hear. All right, we're going to take a break now. We'll come back and continue our coverage, the aftermath of the implosion of Three Rivers Stadium. What happens next? Don't go away.
Monday. Can you imagine having triplets? Can you imagine having triplets with a combined weight of just 4.5 pounds? See how these babies beat the odds and go on to live healthy lives. Monday on KDKA TV News at 5.
At last, it's here. A new investment program designed for hardworking people by hardworking people.
I want to set my own goal.
The new Transamerica Goaltender is designed to help you meet the investment goal you set in just 10 years.
I can't afford hundreds of dollars a month.
Invest as little as $60 a month.
And I want my money to work hard.
Your money is professionally managed.
The money's got to be deducted, so I won't miss it.
Monthly investments are automatically deducted.
I want my family to get the money if something happens to me.
If you die during the 10 years, a valuable option ensures your family your entire goal. Call now for free information on the Transamerica Goaltender, designed for hardworking people by hardworking people.
Call 1-888-241-2091 for your free CD-ROM or information package, or visit our website at transgoaltender.com. There's no obligation. Call 1-888-241-2091.
It's 81 degrees in Aruba. Call AAA Travel.
Studies have shown that introducing a child to music education in the arts improves them intellectually. But have they shown that it's just plain fun? Give your child a gift.
So on this cold Sunday morning in Pittsburgh, Three Rivers Stadium is gone. Look.
It's not there anymore. It's gone. Nowhere to be seen anymore. We have a lot of great replays,
Yeah, we do.
slow
Great
motion
shots.
and other ones of the implosion that took place. Now, 49 minutes ago, it went off without a hitch at all. This is the angle, Patrice, looking what, from
CCAC, right, on Pittsburgh's north side.
toward the point, and this is the Three Rivers on your left, the Steelers' new stadium on your right, and
there she goes.
There it goes. Now, I'm going to ask our director whether he has the reverse angle of this one in slow motion or not, because it's something that John Steigerwald did. Okay, I'm just saying, when you get a chance to show in slow motion, watch the particles that come out of the, see, it's exploding right toward the Steelers' new stadium. See all those pieces of concrete come flying out there like that? And as John Shumway said, Patrice, not a single window was broken. It's
damage.
absolutely amazing.
That's right. They believe there's absolutely no damage at all to the new Steelers Stadium, which is really good news and really exciting. Bob and John, I know you guys are over there watching it, and you snuck out and took a look and felt the impact of it as well.
Yeah, we did. We could not stay here because we were too close to it, and we figured you wouldn't miss us anyways. Right, John? We were
right. The
right
window's
next to
only
the door.
about 25 feet from here, so we snuck out and looked out the door. And actually, we kept the door open just so we could feel the concussion, if that's what that's called. And it was, as I said, it rattled the windows here in Gateway 1. And as I'm watching it, I keep thinking back to the first time I was in that stadium the night that it opened, and how everybody was in awe. To have gone from, and the ironic thing is that people are now going to go in reverse of what happened to me. Some of the young guys now who have watched baseball all their lives in this park are going to go into PNC, and they're going to think it's great. We came from Forbes Field when I was a kid, and went in that building that you're seeing going down right there, and we were just, it was like I remember thinking it was like a big pinball machine. It just didn't seem like a baseball park, but I loved it. And the scoreboard, everybody was amazed at the scoreboard when at that time there was no instant replay, it was just lights. And I don't know if you remember, Patrice, but they would put the pictures of the players up, and Bob, you remember this.
Absolutely remember that.
They would put the pictures of the players up, and they would do it with light bulbs.
Yeah.
And it would just be like a drawing, and people were just, they thought that was just, nothing could ever be better than that.
It was state-of-the-art at the time. You know, this is one of those cookie-cutter stadiums that appeared all over the place. People were excited about it, but I do remember, John, when we're looking back over the plans, there was supposed to be a cutout section so you could see the viewpoint of the city, and it never happened that way.
Well, that was for cost reasons. It was too costly to keep one side of the stadium open back then.
It was a better idea, though, to look at the skyline.
Which is what we're going to have now.
Right.
These
and
next
it's ironic
two,
that now
both
we
the
have
new
it.
stadiums will have a view of the city, which is a wonderful and exciting thing.
And back in 1970, everybody was amazed at what and pleased with what the stadium had. They're going to be just as pleased when they go to PNC Park at what the stadium, what that ballpark doesn't have. And there's some significance in the fact that it's called PNC Park and not Stadium. We should have known back in 1970 when they said that the Pirates would be playing in a stadium that was a problem, because it was a problem for 30 years. Stadiums are made for football. Parks are made for baseball.
And I can tell you, too, we've been over there. You're not going to have a bad seat over there. It's unbelievable when you only have 38,000 seats as opposed to 58,000. When you have 58,000, you're going to get some viewpoints that are not very good for baseball. They're beautiful for football, but not for baseball.
Much more intimate as we look at the Goodyear blimp picture. Let's go back over to the point and Larry.
You know what happens, Patrice, don't you? When something like this happens, there's always an entrepreneur, and I think Larry Richard has found one.
I bet he has, Larry.
That's
yes,
right.
there you go.
With every implosion, there's opportunity. And these gentlemen found a vendor who was selling Implosion T-shirts. What's your name?
Dan Kroll.
Dan, you bought this today?
Yes, sir.
I see it has the correct date. Now, I understand that there were some guys trying to pawn off some Implosion stuff with old dates.
Yeah, up at the incline, said February 4th. and obviously it's 11th, so.
Well, did you enjoy the implosion?
Yeah.
Where are you from?
Castle Shannon.
All right, thanks for coming down. What's your name?
I'm Dan Kroll also.
All right, there's 2 Dan Kralls. They have implosion gear.
Larry, did the implosion damage Mr. Krall's hat there?
Yes, this is implosion damage on the top of Mr. Krall's hat, if you can see there, Greg.
Shockwave.
Shockwave tore the top right off his cap, but he's fine. Just let his family know he's fine.
He's fine,
Ken
all right.
Rice, otherwise, is frozen solid. We're going to be chipping him out.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Larry. We're going to attempt a thought here in a minute. We'll take a break. Come back right after this.
When it comes to forecasting the weather, AccuWeather is bigger than the Weather Channel, bigger than the networks, bigger than the Science Center, and bigger than all the other Pittsburgh TV stations combined. AccuWeather and Storm Tracker 2000, simply the most accurate.
Here's the latest concert news from the Post-Gazette Pavilion. You know the music.
Yes, I rock-a-bye, sweet baby Jane.
You know the voice. Now, come see the man. The perfect summer evening of music with the legendary James Taylor. One night only, July 26th. Get tickets Saturday at 10 a.m. American Express is the official card of Post-Gazette Pavilion. Stay posted for more concert news from the Post-Gazette Pavilion, an SFX event.
The 2 largest news-gathering organizations in town team up every Sunday morning, debating local issues with interesting guests. The KDPG Sunday edition at 11 on KDKA TV.
Three Rivers, The Implosion, is proudly brought to you by the H.J. Heinz Company. The employees of H.J. Heinz Company salute Three Rivers Stadium. By the Pittsburgh Penguins. For ticket information, just call 642-PENS. By McDonald's. We love to see you smile. By the Pittsburgh Pirates. Season ticket packages start at just $180. Call 1-800-BUY-BUCKS. And by G&G Fitness, Pittsburgh's #1 source for quality fitness equipment.
42 years from the planning stage until its destruction and 30.5 years of life. Three Rivers Stadium is no more.
It is no more. It will absolutely, it will be missed, but we are moving on in Pittsburgh to a wonderful new future. 2 wonderful opportunities for our favorite teams, our baseball team, our football team, and it's quite exciting. I was very impressed this morning.
Yes.
See what happens.
Brought it down exactly the way it was supposed to come down.
Supposed to come down safely and effectively. Bob?
Well, I think it's great now. You know, it's finally to a situation where we can talk about the future. I think Three River Stadium had many great memories, John, over the years. We're never going to forget those memories, you know, from the AFC Championship games, and we were part of it on the field watching those great moments, from the Charger game that wasn't. They blew that big lead. From the one of the Colts, you know, the Harbaugh Hail Mary pass, it seemed to take forever. Those are great memories, the baseball memories. But I think now we can move on and start thinking about the future, because I think too many times we're all guilty of clinging to the past, especially with the Steelers. I think now those memories are still there on archives, on videotape and film, but now we can look to something different.
Yeah, and it is a beginning. It's the end of an era today and the beginning of a new era for Pittsburgh sports teams. And I think I go back to early in this show today, you heard from Sophie Masloff. She knew what she was talking about. They should have done this a long, long, long time ago. Let's go to John Shumway.
Guy says they are ecstatic on how it went. Bianchi Trison now gets to work cleaning up the debris. They've reopened the roads over here. A lot of spectators coming by. And Ken Rice, I have a confession to make. I was repositioning to talk to Doug Loazzo as soon as it was over and missed most of it. After all that.
You know what, John? It's on tape.
I'm glad.
All right, I've got Brenda Waters with me too. Final thoughts?
We kissed her goodbye. It was great.
It was great.
It's a great day.
All right, full, complete, incredible coverage tonight. KDKA TV News at 6:30. Thanks for joining us and watching Pittsburgh Skyline change forever. It has literally been a blast.
That's right.
Have a great
Bye-bye.
day.
Have a
So
good
long,
day.
everybody.